Hello everyone and welcome to this new video. In this video we will continue on with the horror game series part 3, and I'm sorry for taking so long with the series. I've just had really much with school and everything, so yeah, that is why. So yeah, I apologize for taking so long with the series. But if we just play, we can see that we are inside the game that we made in the previous parts. So what we did was to add the night scene, we added a flashlight and the smooth movement and everything. And now once you're in your project, I want you to do something. So I want you to copy these two videos on the screen right now. So what you want to do is to follow the head bobbing video and also the crouching video, because as you can see, I have already implemented these because I have a video on them, so I thought that it was pointless to do the exact same thing in the horror game series when I already have videos on it. So as you can see, when I walk I have the head bobbing, and when I run I also have the head bobbing effects all working, and I can also crouch down, which I also made in the previous tutorial. So I want you to follow these two videos, and once you have done these two videos, we can proceed with the actual tutorial. So now, once we have all of these, we could say that the movement is now done. So what we will focus on in this video is that we will actually create the environment for our horror game. And when creating an environment for a horror game, we want it to be, of course, scary, a little bit claustrophobic, dark, so we can actually use our flashlight. So that is why I decided to make the horror game set in an abandoned storage place. So there will be big shelves with boxes, maybe like a labyrinth. So that is what we are going to create. And of course you can make your own environments, but for the sake of the series you should also make the storage environment. And also everything that we will be using in this series will be 100% free, so you don't need to pay anything or something like that. We will only use free assets. So let's start with the tutorial. So what I'm going to do first is to actually import the storage assets, and that we can do in the new Fab marketplace. So let's first of all open up the Epic Games launcher. Then we want to go to Fab right here, and then we want to click on Start Exploring, because recently Unreal Engine 5 actually changed the marketplace to Fab. So we just want to select this, and this will open up a new tab in your browser. And if you don't have a Fab account, you can just make it really quick, because you need a Fab account to actually download all of the assets. So once you have created your account, we want to go down until we see Unreal Engine right here. So just select that, and then we want to go down. We want to click on the price right here, so drop down this menu, and then we want to select the free option. And as you can see now, all of the products on the screen is free. And then we want the environment, so I will just select the environment category up here. And now as you can see, we have a bunch of different environments that we can use in our horror game. And we are going to be using the storage environment set. So where is that? Oh, right here, warehouse. It's the same thing kinda. So we will be using this warehouse assets made by Quixelbridge in this series. So just download that, so we can just open it up. And then once we're in here, we want to add to my library. So what this will do is that it will actually add this asset into our Unreal Engine library. So we can import it inside of the Epic Games launcher instead of downloading it right here and extracting it and everything. So just click on add to my library, and make sure to connect the Fab account to the Epic Games launcher when you log in. So once you have done that, we want to go to the Epic Games launcher, then go into the library, and if I just scroll down and search for the warehouse, you can see that I have it right here. So then I want to add it. So then I want to select add to project. I will then select the horror game tutorial, and then I will just add to project. And as you can see now, it is actually adding these assets to the horror game project. And this asset pack is kinda big, so it will take a while to download. So let's just wait for this to actually import into the project. Okay, so now once the assets are added, as you can see, we can just minimize this tab. And then if we just go into our project again, we can see that we have the asset pack right here. So if we just go into it, and then if we go into the assets, into the MS, and then 3D, you can see that we have all of the different assets right here, all for free. So yeah, this pack is very good, and we will be using this to make the environment for our horror game. And of course, your environment doesn't have to be exactly like mine. You can of course do your own things as well, but we will be using this asset to make the whole environment for the series. So what we want to do first is to actually delete this platform. So just select it and then just delete. So what we want to do is that we want to add a floor. So if we just go to this cube right here, go to shapes and add a cube like that, and then we want to click and then want to select the scale right here, so we can actually scale the object. So if I just hold and drag on this line right here, you can see that I will actually make this cube bigger. But as you can see, it is very thick, so we can just select this blue pin and just drag it down until it's much thinner, like that. Looks good. So I will just drag this until how I like it. And you can also use this player start right here for a reference to see how big the floor actually is. So this size is the character and this size is the floor. So I want the floor to be kind of big, so we actually have some space to add the warehouse props like that. Maybe make it even bigger, something like that. And we will of course be adding walls and everything like that. But yeah, that looks good. So as you can see, this is how big mine. So as you can see, this is how big my floor is, but of course you can use your own size and make it and have the layout as your own. But I will be using this size for the series. But as you can see now, the ground texture is just plain white. So if we just go to the surfaces folder right here, inside of the scene warehouse asset pack, we want to go into the folder, so just open it up, and then we want to select the floor concrete. And then you can see that we have two different types of materials, which are kind of similar, but this one is a bit more gray, not as dirty as this one. So I will be using this for the floor material. So what I want to do is to just select this and drag it onto the cube like that. And as you can see now, the cube is, and as you can see now, the cube actually has a floor material. But if I just go and zoom in, you can see that the texture is very poor, and that is because the object is so big, so the material has actually stretched out to fit the size of the cube. And it doesn't really look that great, because when the material is being stretched to make it bigger, it of course loses the quality, because we are zooming into the material to make it fit into the onto the cube. So we can easily fix this by just opening up the material, and then if we just click on this tab, so just open that up, then just open this tiling offset, and as you can see here we have the tiling X and the tiling Y. So if I just drag this, you can see that I am actually resizing the material on the Y axis, and I am resizing the material on the X axis when I drag this. So the higher this value is, the smaller the material will get. And we want the material to be smaller because right now it is very zoomed in and large. So if you just select this number, so tiling X, and set it to maybe 5, you can see that it got a lot smaller on the X axis, but we want the Y axis to be the same as the X, so just select the tiling Y and just do that 5 number. And now as you can see, the material is much smaller and has much better quality. But I want it to be even smaller, so I want to set this tiling value to maybe 7 and the Y to 7 as well, to make it fit each other. And that perhaps looks good, so I can just play and see how that looks. Yeah, that looks very good. So now we can see that the material is looking a lot better. And of course you can change the material to have whatever material you want, but I will just... And you can of course use whatever material you want for the floor. But now, once we have finished with the floor, we want to add the walls and the roof as well. So now, once we finish with the floor, we want to just actually select the floor once again, and we want to rename this to floor. So just select the cube right here, and then just right click, go to the edit, rename, edit, rename, and I want to call this floor, because this is the actual floor. And this will just make it easier for us to know what kind of parts we're selecting. So now, going on with the walls, we want to add another cube, so just select the shapes, cube, drag that out, like that, and then we just want to scale this a bit thinner, like that, and then we want to drag this over to the side, make sure that it aligns, and it doesn't need to be perfect. Sometimes the objects don't fit perfectly with each other, but the player won't see that. So I will just make this wall like that, looks about good, and then I will just select the scale again, and I will just make the width a lot bigger, like that. So make sure that the cube actually fits with the floor, yeah. And then we want to drag this blue pin to make it even bigger, like that. And if I just play, we can see how tall it is. So right now it is pretty tall, I think. Yeah, that's a good, no, maybe a bit taller, because the shelves will be very tall. So maybe like that. Yeah, that looks good. So once we have added our wall, we want to add the texture to it as well, so the material. And if I just go to the surfaces folder, we can see that we have the wall facade right here that I will be using for the walls. And as you can see, we have two different materials here as well. So we have a gray one and a more lighter gray, which both look very nice. But I think that this darker gray will fit better. So just select this material and just drag it on like that. But now it happens again. As you can see, the material is actually stretched, so it fits with the size of the cube. But we can of course fix this very simply by just opening up the material, making it a bit smaller like that. And then we can change the tiling. So if I just drag this, so if I just drag the X value, you can see that the wall will be getting a bit smaller. Yeah. So just set the tiling X value to maybe about 17 and the Y to 5 is good. Yeah. So you can just play around with these values to make the material fit your wall. But these values will work for me. Yeah, that looks very nice. So just save and close out of there. And now as you can see, we have a wall. And of course we need 4 walls. So we can just duplicate this. So Control C, Control V. And just drag this to the other side. Like that. Make sure that it also aligns with the floor. And then just copy this again. So Control C, Control V. And just drag you like that. And then duplicate this again. Like that. But now as you can see, these 2 walls are very wide, so we can just resize them. So just select the sizing tool and just drag this red pin so it fits much better like that, and do the same with this one right here. So like that. Yeah, so now we have 4 walls. Nice. And remember that I am not a professional level designer, so if you are one, don't criticize me. I am not really that good at level designing, but we are making an environment for our realistic horror game, so yeah, don't judge me. So yeah, now once we have done this, we want to make the roof as well. So this pack actually has a roof material and a roof asset, so we can just use that to our advantage. So what we want to do is to go into the scene warehouse folder. We want to go to assets and then into the blueprint, and as you can see, we have the roof frame right here. So what we want to do is to just drag it out. Make sure that it is in the middle. Just drag it up. And then just drag it at the end of the first wall. Make sure that it fits with the wall like that. And then we can just resize this. Oh. Like that. So now, once we have added this, we want to add it a bunch more times because we want the roof frame to go over the whole entire floor. So you can just duplicate this. So Control C, Control V. Then just maybe have it like that much apart. And then you can just select these 2 again. Control C, Control V. Then just drag them apart. Like this. And maybe like you need to be at the end right there. Then you can be right there. Yeah, that actually looks very good. Nice. So this is just the floor frame that actually came with the pack, and I see now that the frame don't actually align with the wall right here. So what I will do is to just drag the wall a bit in and just move the floor a bit like that, so it fits with the walls and everything. And you can of course change this to however you want. You don't need to exactly copy me, and make sure that it looks the best for you. So now, after we have added the roof frame, we want to actually add the tilted roof like that, which is actually pretty simple. So we can just add a cube. So just go up here, want to add a shape, add a cube, place you right there, then make you smaller, so like, and then I will select the scale value right here and select maybe a 0.1 instead of the 0.25 to make it even smaller like that. Yeah, and then I want to rotate this so it is tilted with the roof framing. So I will just drag you first of all to the roof framing. Then I will just select the rotating icon right there, and I will rotate this until it aligns with the roof. So we can also just select the value and change it right here as well. Like that is perfect actually. Then just align it with the actual roof. Like that. And then we're going to drag this up into the middle of this side. Like that. And then we can just scale this. Oh, first of all, we'll need to drag it onto the middle of the, like that. And I know that it is very fast right now, but you can of course pause the video and make sure that everything looks good. So yeah, I will just scale this down. So now I will just scale this, so just click on the scale icon and just scale you like that, maybe a bit more, like that. And then I will just select this red one and just scale it like this until it is at the end right there, just like that. Yeah, and then I will just copy this and rotate and just place you on the other side right there, and also make sure that it meets in the middle. Yeah, that actually looks very nice, very good. So as you can see, there is no material on the roof, so we can just go to the scene warehouse pack, go to the assets, the MS, and then to the surfaces. And in here we have the roof painted, and then once we're in here we can just select this and just drag it onto the roof and do the same right there. And as you can see, the roof is extremely big, so we want to just open the material up again, and we want to make the tiling much smaller. So just check this tiling, box 2 true, and then we can change the tiling to make it fit to the actual roof. So I want it to be a lot smaller, so the X value will be maybe about 40. Oh, that is too much. Maybe 20. Oh, also too much. 5 maybe. 5, maybe 4 even. and the Y can be set to 2 or 3, maybe even 4. Yeah, that looks very good. Yeah, very nice. Like that. So now we have the floor, we have the walls, and we have the roof. So if I just play, oh, we can't see anything because we have no light, but we will add lights in a second. And yeah, as you can see, we have the base of our warehouse, and I will be adding a lot more things in here, of course, but right now we need to do the layout and this most yeah, the base for the layout. And as you can see, we have no wall right here, so what we can do is to actually just duplicate this, drag it up like that, yeah, like that, and do the same with this wall right here. Drag you a bit inside, oh, bit down, yeah, like that. Just like that. Okay, so now once we've done that, I will just add a beam in the middle here, because as you can see, it doesn't connect to anything, this roof frame. So I will just select a beam, because I think that it actually were a beam right here. So into the custom folder, and the right here, beam. You can just select that and drag you out, then just rotate you. Right now I am I am actually just making it look much better, so you can of course pause the video and make your storage look better as well. So maybe that big, maybe even bigger. And what I want to do now is to add the lights, so we can actually see anything, because right now it is pitch black. And these lights will actually just be temporary, so we can actually see anything when making our game and make sure that it looks good. Because later on we will actually add the assets to the lamps and everything. So how do we add lights? Well, I want to add a spotlight because they look the best. So I'll just go into the cube right here, go to lights, and just drag out a spotlight. And I want you to be in the start right here, and align you with the beam like that. And then I can just, I have been in unlit mode all the time, so I can just select this and go to the lit mode. And you can see we have the light. So what we can do is that if we just select this, we can change all of the values, as you can see at the right bottom right here. So what I'm going to do is to change the intensity to be a bit more intense, so maybe about 20. And then I will change the attenuation radius, so maybe about 2000. And then the outer cone angle, which is how far the light will actually spread, about right there. Yeah. And now I will just add these spotlights to the whole level. So now, once I have added all of the spotlights to the level, as you can see, I want to just select the light, because as you can see, we are actually lighting up the floor, but not really the roof and the walls. You can't really see the walls right now. So we can just select a spotlight, and then we want to select all of the spotlights in our level. So just select the first spotlight right here, then scroll down until you see the last one, so right here. So I want to hold down the shift key, and then I want to left click. So as you can see now, I have selected all of the lights. And then if I go to the indirect lighting intensity right here, I can change this value to maybe about 10. 10 is maybe too much, so let's say about 5. Too much, 2 maybe. 2.5. Wait, 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. 2 is good. 2 is good. 2. Just like that. So now we can see the roof a little bit better. And if I just play, we can see that the lights are all working. And because we have all of the lights in our level, your game might be running a bit slower, and that is because the game is actually rendering all of these lights. So maybe if you have a bit slower computer, you will want to maybe delete some lights, and I recommend you to watch a video on how to optimize the lighting in your game. But for me, that is not a problem because I have a pretty good computer. But yeah, that is the lights that I will be using. And now, after all of this, the fun will begin, because right now we want to add all the different shelves to the environment. So the shelves is located in the blueprints folder, so we can just open that up. And as you can see, this is a blueprint, so it is already made for us. And this may take a while to load, because you have to load all of the different assets and such. And as you can see, all of the boxes and everything is placed for us, so we don't have to do it ourselves. So that is very nice. So what I will do now is to just add all of the different shelves to the game. So yeah, you need to do that as well, so let's start. And I think that it's a lot easier to work in unlit mode, so we can just change the mode right here to be unlit. So this is how it is looking for me right now, and this is after me adding a lot of different meshes and decals. As you can see, these lines right here really add up to the experience and make it feel more realistic. So what I'm do is just to add all of these different assets to the storage to make it feel like an actual warehouse. So what we want to do now is to just add a bunch of things, just create a layout for the player to walk and do some things like these, and just add a bunch of things that will actually make this look like a horror game and play like one as well. And what I'm going for is to make it a bit of a labyrinth, because we don't really have a story of what the horror game should be right now. But I think that it will be a just very simple story, of course, because we are only learning how to create a realistic, simple horror game in this series right here. So create a quick map, and I will just be continuing with just adding a bunch of things like this, and just looking for what I have, because as you all can see, we have a lot of different assets inside of this asset pack that we downloaded. So just make sure to add a bunch of these assets, because the more assets the better it looks. So just add a bunch of these. Maybe have a barrel that is laying on the ground like this to make it feel more alive, like this barrel has been knocked over by someone or something like that. And if this is running badly for your computer, you will of course want to watch a video on how to optimize the assets in Unreal Engine 5, because there's a bunch of videos on the internet which shows you how to optimize your game. And you can of course go into all of these different assets, meshes, and change the LODs and everything to make it more optimized. But yeah, I will just keep adding things to the map, and you should too. So yeah, this is what I have done so far. As you can see, I have added a bunch of different destruction right here, and a bunch of the shelves, a bunch of detail, and these things add up to make it look extremely realistic. And I've also made this little box destruction right here that you actually need to crouch through to go to the other side right here. So these things make it look a lot more realistic. So if I just play, you can see that it already looks very, very realistic and good. And of course the map doesn't need to be bigger than this. I will just make it a bit smaller, and the horror game will be a very simple one, as I said before. So when making a map for this series, it doesn't need to be huge and have a lot of detail and everything, but this is a great example on how to create environments for your horror game, and I hope that your horror game also looks like mine, or even better. So of course play around with this level and make it so that you like it. And in the next video we will also be adding a lot of sounds to the environment. So right now it is just pitch quiet, which isn't really that realistic. So we'll add a bunch of eerie music and sound effects and ambience to make it feel a lot more alive and scary. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it, and I know this is a very long video, but it is also a very crucial step, of course, to make the horror game map. So yeah, just I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the part 4 of the horror game series. So yeah.